same way. Like the further out you go from the the big cities, is the more extreme people practice their their religion. That's what it
Well,
is.
and we have to understand that the cities were created for trading posts.
Hmm.
So they were main hubs for integration, for multiple cultures to come bring their goods and services that we needed. But yet again, we think we're isolationists and everything can happen just because we're geopolitics. It's kind of wild. The ideology that runs along with this war. And yet again, Iran is a terrain nightmare. Talk to any military specialist about trying to infiltrate Iran. Talk to anyone. I don't give a shit who they are. Talk to any special forces. Talk to any ranger. Talk to anybody that has military service. Period, and tell me where the military strategy goes into where, oh, it's a mountainous region. Okay, well, how does that affect our helicopters?
Mm.
Oh, it's a sand terrain. Well, how does it affect our tanks, our Humvees, our this, that, and the like?
There's
It's
a lot
like
goes into it. You're right. But all right, let's get back.
it, Roger.
Azaris, and the Bolloks. Okay? These are the three major problem areas for Iran, and it's always been the case.
Iran.
Remember, the Persians are in the middle. So the Bolloks are, first of all, Sunni Muslims. And as we discussed last class, the Sunnis and the Shias have never really gotten along well together. They have different, they're the same religion, Islam, but they have different belief systems.
Mhm.
That's led to a lot of conflicts in the past. It's almost like the Catholics and the Protestants, okay? And so the Bullets.
Now, yeah, when I was looking up the history of it and all that's good stuff, it was mainly the belief of that the leader or pretty much the next leader of Islam should be either a descendant of Muhammad, which that's where the Shias come in, where they wanted the Ali guy, and that's where they got Shia from. And then, of course, there were the Sunnis who just wanted the caliphates, or the caliphates, which means the rightly guided, or the Abu Bakr, that guy. And you know what? That guy actually did some pretty cool stuff. I'll be real with you. Be real.
Have been trying to rebel against Iranians for a long time. I guarantee you that there are already Israeli and American special forces embedded in this area, okay? The reason why is that they want to encourage as much civil conflict as possible.
Oh, and you got trust me, look this up. Those caliphate guys from back in the day, they actually created a doctrine that was like an outline for the Magna Carta. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is written history. This is not something that it's not disputed. It's not disputed amongst countries that this actually happened. And that's the crazy thing about, okay, so where is reason when it comes to humanity in today's day? You can't be different than me. It's like, okay, well,
you gotta rewrite history to make this make sense. Like, bro, there's literally it was Matt Walsh who got grilled by Mehdi Hassan of all people about the history of Islam. Like, he's like, oh, Islam hasn't contributed anything. I'm like, bro, you dumb? Like all the poetry, the mathematics, Arabic number. I'm like, well, bro, are you serious?
well, how does Matt Walsh still have a platform or Jordan Peterson with their boss when Candace Owens was fired? You know what I mean, for being a devout Catholic or Christian or whatever. I don't know exactly what she claims, but yet again, when it comes to the people that are platform, I don't worship idols.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about what other people say. I know what I've lived. I don't know what other people have lived. I know what I've lived. And that's where my truth came. That's where that statement of my truth comes from.
Exactly.
Is that
I already knew. And here's the thing: is like, bro, if this is what we're gonna do, it's like, bro, we're gonna lose this argument, and we're gonna divide MAGA over for what? We're gonna divide our party over what? Who hates Muslims and who don't? That's ridiculous. And here's the thing: we're gonna be disingenuous about this hatred for Muslims. Like, I'm be real with you, like Matt Walsh was when he made that statement. Then we're only gonna divide America even more. Like, bro, there's literally people on my side that, I mean, it's sad, but they're ignorant. I mean, and they're bigots. It kills me, but it's just like, hold on. We went from making jokes about different races to actually having a hatred for different races. Like, what's going on?
And I don't understand it, brother. I really don't. And I'm not MAGA. I am a person that is trying to figure out where these identity politics provide any substance for progress for the human race. It's
Mm,
not about politics. It's about what did the Constitution say for me? And what did it say for everybody else with the Bill of Rights? It
well,
said that all men are created equal. And I'm talking about the original written Constitution where slavery was abolished. There were equal opportunity for all men, not a financial opportunity. It wasn't about anything to do with money. It was about here is the ideology that creates a country for every human on the planet.
yep,
And
freedom of religion was definitely what part in there.
like
And I,
you
and
cannot
let's be real,
correct.
we're walking away from those main values that are for that the founding fathers held. Like when I do see this type of rhetoric going around, I'm just like, are we forgetting what our founding fathers stood on? Like, yeah, it was freedom of religion no matter what. There's a reason why one of the founding fathers kept the Quran around because he meant that shit. And they seen what happens when you let one religion dominate a government. I don't care if it's Christian or Muslim, it's going to be corrupt. Your religion is I'm be real with you, it's corrupt, it's just as corruptible as the next.
And these are individuals that were raised off the doctrine from England that said that, hey, Muslims ruled Spain for 400 years. Like, I'm sorry, they grew off of, oh, well, we may be Christians in their own fundamental understanding of that, but yet again, they understood you have the freedom of religion, you have the freedom of assembly, you have the freedom of speech. Regardless of another individual says that it's hate speech or it's this or that, I'm sorry, but this government that we have now, federally and state and locally, it should be rescinded back to the Constitution so
Mm,
that we can fundamentally put in freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness back into the minds of the American people, not
yeah.
the competition and consumerism and bullshit that goes off of, well, I abide by one system or another, and that makes me better than you, which is absolute nonsense.
Mm. All right, let's keep it going.
Because you can be a homesteader or you could be a worker. It doesn't matter. If you are prospering your family by obtaining your own goals and surviving your own life, you are not dependent on others. I'm sorry, but you are fundamentally different, but you're fundamentally the same, being human beings that want life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness.
Facts. But all right, though, let's get right into it. And shout out to my man Lunatic Libertarian. All right, back to it.
But they also want to prepare the possibility for a ground invasion of America. Okay? So they would need a forward operating base. And this area could be a very good place for a beginning of a land invasion. Then you over here, you have the Kurds. Okay? The Kurds are another minority that seeks national sovereignty. And right now, what's happening is that the Americans and Israelis are bombing this area heavily, and they're targeting police stations. Why? Because they're trying to reduce and eliminate opposition so that they can arm the Kurds and have them come into this area and threaten Iran. What's also happening is that in Iraq, there are these Sunni groups, okay, that the Americans are basically bribing and arming, and they're basically fanatics, okay? They're ISIS. And what the Americans want to do is send them into Iran to cause as much problems as possible. Okay? Then over here, you have Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan, it is a independent country. What's really odd is that the majority of ethnic Azeris are actually in Iran. 6% are in the country, 40% are in the country of Azerbaijan, which means that from the perspective of the Azerbaijani people, this war could be an opportunity to reunite the people, okay, and create a greater Azerbaijan. So these are the three problem areas that you have to watch as this war develops over the next few weeks, over the next few months. Okay? So we already know what the American strategy will be because we've seen it in Libya, in Syria before. Okay, so what is the strategy? All right. So again, the strategy is to both attack without, okay, from outside and inside as well. So what you're going to do is this. You're going to arm these people, embed special forces into these insurgent groups to lead them and provide air cover so they have a clear path into Iran and are able to limit opposition, okay? All right. So now you're attacking from without. Attacking from within means to cause as much pain and suffering in the interior of Iran as possible. All right. And how do you do that? Well, you do that through decapitation. Okay, let's go over the strategies. Okay, decapitation. Okay. And what you're doing is you're removing the elite. Okay, or what we call command and control. Okay, you're basically limiting the capacity of Iran to govern itself, to have a leadership, to have an elite. All right, command and control. Okay, so that's the first strategy. Second strategy is aerial bombardment. Okay, aerial supremacy.
We got that all day.
So again, America has the most advanced airplanes in the world, and the way that it's using its airplanes is to destroy as much military installations as possible, but it's also engaging in acts of sabotage, okay? So what they're doing is they're carpet bombing. Okay, so they're carpet bombing Tehran, okay? They're doing soft targeting. Soft targeting. Soft targeting means that instead of attacking military installations, you attack hospitals. Why? Because you're degrading the capacities, you're degrading the state's capacity to rejuvenate itself, to be resilient, okay? The last thing is something called double tap. Double tap is this, okay? And it's really illegal or against international law. What you do is this. You attack a place, right? You kill some people, and then people try to come and help the people who are injured. And it could be like doctors, it could be emergency personnel, it could be relatives, right? And then you strike again to create as many civilian casualties as possible, right? And the entire idea is to create as much fear and anxiety in people as possible so that they lose the capacity to resist, right? And the last thing you do, and the last thing, of course, is to arm and bribe insurgents. Okay, so these are the three main pillars of the American strategy. And you will see this over the next few weeks. The problem with this is that when you do these three things, you're not actually hurting the Iranians, you're actually helping them. Because remember, the law of asymmetry states that whichever group is able to create energy, openness, and cohesion will win. And guess what, guys? This American strategy is going to create a more energetic, more open, and more cohesive Persian society. All right, let me show you how. All right, decapitation. We just said that one major problem for America is elite overproduction, right? Well, with decapitation, what you're doing is you're solving this problem for the Iranians, right? Before, the huge problem for the Iranians were you have too many leaders and they all have their own stupid opinion and they all want to lead this war, right? But by killing so many leaders, you allow for more mobility, for more meritocracy, right? You're solving the problem of elite overproduction for the Iranians. That's a huge, huge bonus, guys, okay? So the leadership will become much more lean, much more mean, much more determined, and much more strategic. Okay? That's number
down.
one. Number two, air supremacy. Well, when you do this to people, when you carpet bomb Tehran, you're creating a more cohesive society. Why? Because the major conflict in Iran for many decades was the conflict between the urban areas and the rural areas. The rural areas were very religious, very poor, very backward. And the urban areas were educated, secular, and...
Oh, and shout out to my man Ryan Davis for sending 100 for 2 jewels, and shout out to Nurse Terry for venting for sending the happy poo for 10 jewels. Appreciate the support, guys.
Progressive. Okay? And so there's this huge conflict that led to a lot of riots, a lot of protests in Iran. But when you carpet bomb the cities, which are the main source of support for progressive Western policies, you make them united with the rural areas. Okay? Does that make sense? The Iranian people no longer see each other as enemies. They see the Americans, the Israelis, as enemies. You create a much more cohesive society, who are willing to fight together. And that's a problem, okay? All right, the last thing. Yes, you are arming the insurgents, the Bullocks, the Kurds, the Azaris. Okay, that's fine. The problem with this is that you are now activating, galvanizing Persian nationalism, right? For the longest time, the Persian national identity was suppressed by the theocracy because they want to create a more, they want to create a grand religion that unites all ethnicities. When you turn the other minorities against the Iranians, then the Persian people have to come together and remember their history, celebrate their identity. And this is the key, okay? Once the Persian people are able to activate their long-lasting memories, go back in the past and remember their greatness, they come together as an energetic, open, and cohesive society, okay? So yes, the Americans have this strategy that worked in Libya and Syria and other places, but it's not going to work in Iran. In fact, it's going to do the opposite in Iran. Okay? And then you're like, well, why don't the Americans not do this? And I already told you, because it's an empire, okay? It doesn't care about Iran. It cares about itself. And so it's sort of stuck with it.
Hey, shout out to the Lunatic Libertarian. He says, have an opinion, come on stage, go to the post go to the post tab on the main page, click current StreamYard link, and share your opinion on stage. Agree or disagree, come on. Yeah, I do want to hear some of you guys' opinions, especially the guys who are, like, I would say, yeah, the pro-Islam crowd, the radically anti-Islam crowd. Like, I kind of want to hear from both sides. I want to hear supporters of the war and the guys who are anti-war. Like, come on now. We still got like at least probably like 15, 20 more minutes left.
This policy, because remember, it's trying to win this war as quickly as possible because it doesn't have the manufacturing capacity to fight this war for a long time. It's trying to reduce as many casualties among its soldiers as possible because the Americans don't have the political will to fight this war. America's trying to win this war cheaply and fast. And if it doesn't, then America's in a lot of trouble. Okay, does that make sense, guys? All right, let me now conclude. Oh, sorry, let me now discuss the Iranian strategy, okay? So what the Americans are using is a classic strategy called siege warfare, okay? And so what the Iranians are going to do is they're going to respond with a classic strategy called guerrilla warfare. Okay, and guerrilla warfare, guys, it's just simple as hide and seek. All right? So you come bomb me with everything you have, I'll just hide in my mountains. And then when you leave, what I'm going to do, I'm going to attack your GCC countries. I'm going to lob drones, rockets at you. I'm going to lob rockets at Israel. Okay, I don't have to strike that hard. I just have to be a pain in the ass. Okay, because then what happens is you're forced to come back and bomb the living hell out of me. But guess what? I'll just hide in my mountains again. It's hide and seek. Okay. So Iran can do this for years and years and years. But again, remember, America is forced to win this war as fast as possible because there is no political will. They don't have manufacturing capacity, and they don't want it. They don't want that many casualties and economic damage. Okay, does that make sense, guys? All right, so that's all Iran's going to do. Iran's just going to be a pain in the ass, okay? A pain in the ass. It's trying to create as much economic damage as possible. It's trying to create as much fear as possible, all right? Which will force America to attack. The grand question is this: will America launch a ground invasion? Okay, because if it does, then they've lost the war. Okay. All right, because look at Iran, okay? Mountains and mountains, deserts. It is impossible to occupy this country. All right, it's impossible to invade. And what the Iranians want to do is be such a pain in the ass to commit so much guerrilla warfare that America is forced to invade, okay, from over here and from over here and from over here and from over here, and then eventually. But the problem is that America doesn't have the resources.
Yeah, look at that set. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Hold on, background. Yes, sir.
Look at the 3D model of how would you invade Iran.
Hold on. You got a lot going on in the background. Hold on, you got a lot going on in the background, my friend. I think I'm hearing the stream play over again. But all right, go ahead.
I was putting my super chats in through my phone. So look at the terrain. And then what he's trying to bring in is where do you invade and where do you bring in your equipment? Now, using aerial vehicles, how do you drop all that equipment that you need immediately? There's no way that you're going to set up your ground forces to attack these individuals that are already dug in. So any counterinsurgent has already been planned for, 2,000 years against this terrain. And that's my only point.
Good point. Hey man, there's a reason why Persia was a superpower. I mean, when you got terrain like this, I mean, how can you lose? But all right, though, let's get back to it.
All right, it's impossible to invade. And what the Iranians want to do is be such a pain in the ass to commit so much guerrilla warfare that America is forced to invade, okay, from over here and from over here and from over here and from over here. And then eventually, but the problem is that America doesn't have the resources, the political will, the manufacturing capacity to fight this war, okay? Does that make sense? All right, so now you're like, okay, I understand all this. But why the hell is this war happening then? Like, if I can tell you this, okay, I'm sure that their generals can tell them this as well. I'm sure that they know that this was the case. In fact, for years, America has been planning to invade Iran, and for years, the generals was like, no, that's suicidal, let's not do this, okay? So why is this happening? And unfortunately, we don't know, because the administration is not telling us. At first, Trump is like, oh, because the nuclear talks didn't go well. But we know for a fact that the Iranians were willing to agree to all terms of the Americans. And then Marco Rubio, who's the Secretary of State, he came out yesterday and he said something really moronic. He said that, why did we attack Iran? Because we heard the Israelis were going to attack first. Then the Iranians were going to respond by attacking both the Israelis and us, the Americans. And therefore, we have to preempt the Israelis by attacking first. That's just retarded, okay? All right? So they don't know why they're doing this. But there has to be a reason, right? Okay, well, a clue is this. A clue is this. The soldiers are being asked, the American soldiers are being asked to fight this war. And again, no one knows why this war is happening. But there's reporting that the generals are telling the soldiers.
And let's be real, it has been confirmed that yes, Israel told us that they were going to strike Iran, even though Iran told everybody in the Middle East and basically in the world that if we get struck, we're going after everybody. And Israel took that as the green light to pop this off.
The war for Jesus. This is a war to create the second coming of Jesus. Okay, this is Jonathan Larson, and he's writing this on Substack. Okay, U.S. troops were told Iran war is for Armageddon, the return of Jesus.
Yep.
Well, what is this? All right, so sorry. So
yes, U.S. military guys did come out and share that, yeah, the language that they were getting from one of their commanders was concerning. They said this is our war of Armageddon. This is all about Jesus Christ. And of course, you know, the Jews, the atheists, and the Muslims in the army, they're like, whoa, bro, hold on. This ain't even about us, apparently. I'm like, what do you mean we're doing this for Armageddon? Like, wait, we're going to war for Armageddon? Like, what are we doing here?
some soldiers who are not Christians were told that there's a war for Jesus, and like, wait a minute, we're not Christians, we're Muslims or we're atheists. Why are we fighting this war? And so they filed a complaint about this speech, okay? And we're going to read a part of this email that the soldiers who are dissenting sent to some other people to complain about this, okay? So, could you read, please?
I am a NCO rank withheld in our unit. This morning, our commander opened up the combat readiness status briefing by urging us to not be afraid as to what is happening with our combat operations in Iran right now.
Okay, afraid. This word tells us they're losing the war, okay? Right? Keep on going.
He urged us to tell our troops that this was all part of God's divine plan, and he specifically
Wait a minute here.
All right, so yeah, I say, let's see, I am a NCO ranked withheld in our unit. This morning, our commander opened up the combat readiness status briefing by urging us not to be afraid as to what is happening with our combat operations in Iran right now. He urged us to tell our troops that this is what all this, yeah, this is was, well, that this is was all part of God's divine plan. And he specifically referenced numerous citations out of the book of Revelations referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ. He said that President Trump has been anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran to cause Armageddon and mark his return to earth. Yeah, I ain't gonna lie, that is a problem. That's a problem. Yeah.
As a North pagan, I have a big problem with that because that has no compliance to my belief system. So why am I having to suffer the consequences of other religions fighting themselves?
And bro, he said he had a big grin on his face when he said all of this, which made his message
God's divine plan
seem even more crazy. And this is what this coming from this is coming from an army guy and what his commander was telling him. That is wild. I couldn't even imagine trying to be sold into a war like that. Like, yeah, I'm out, guys. You're talking about this for Armageddon. I'm like, hold on. Well, I thought we were going to war to stop the Armageddon, not to pretty much send it on in to invoke it. Like, if that's the case, I'm good. But all right.
God's not the one ordering them to fight this war. It's Trump or the American military, okay? This is kind of weird. Keep on going.
And he specifically referenced numerous citations out of the book of Revelation referring to Armageddon and the imminent return of Jesus Christ. He said that...
But all right, though, let me go ahead and read this for you. Yeah, he had a big grin on his face when he said all of this, which made his message seem even more crazy. Our commander would probably be described as a Christian first supporter. He has been this way for a very long time, and he makes it clear that he desires all of us under him to be just like him as a Christian. But what he did this morning was so toxic and over the line that it shocked many of us in attendance at the ops readiness briefing. Besides myself, I am reaching out to MRFF on behalf of 15 fellow troops. I know you asked me about the religious views of our group, who has requested help from the the MRFF. I can only tell you that I am Christian, and at least 10 of the others are also Christian, and one of the others is Jewish, and one is Muslim. I don't know the religion or the non-religious status of the other three at the time. Okay. Well, like I said, concerning.
President Trump has been anointed by Jesus to light the signal fire in Iran, to cause Armageddon and mark his return to Earth.
Oh my God. President Trump, the fire in Iran. It's all part of a grand plan to destroy the world so that Jesus will return. What is this crap? Okay, keep on going.
He had a big grin on his face.
Okay, he's happy about this, guys. The world is ending. Yeah! Keep on going.
When he said all of this, which made his message seem even more crazy.
Yeah, bro, it's lit.
Our commander would probably be described as a Christian first supporter. He's been this way for a very long time and makes it clear that he desires all of us under him to become just like him as a Christian. But what he did this morning was so toxic and over the line that it shocked many of us in attendance at the ops readiness briefing. Besides myself, I am reaching out to MRFF on behalf of 15 fellow troops. I know you asked me about the religious views of our group who has requested help from the MRFF. I can only tell you that I am Christian, and at least 10 of the others are also Christians. One of the others is Jewish and one is Muslim. I don't know the religious or non-religious status for the other 3 at this time.
Okay, so what is happening is that there's some crazy Christians in the American military, the American government, okay, that want to use this war to end the world, to force Jesus to return. That is why this war is happening.
Yep, and shout out to the crazy Christians, the Zionists, who believe that if we help Israel become a state and build a third temple, and also basically commit a religious war crime by taking down the Alexa Mosque or the Dome on the Rock, go ahead and destroy that. We're going to piss off every Muslim in the world. But they believe in destroying that, building their third temple, and bringing in their Messiah, which these crazy Christians thinks is Jesus, and what we all see to be the Antichrist.
Yeah, and that's just still wild to me that the competing religions that are monotheists are still trying to dictate to another percentage of the population of the planet that their religion trumps everybody else.
Yeah, so and they already sacrificed the red heifer, guys. It's all right. It's too bad. It's too late. They got the red cow over there. They burned it to ashes, and they spread the ashes amongst where they want the temple to be. And then they also use the ashes for healing property as well. So this is some very wild stuff.
Well, according to your post right there from the moderator, 75% of Congress received pro-Israel lobby money in 2024. Well, in my opinion, and this is strictly only my opinion, there should be a kneeling or a standing ceremony that is presented to these individuals, and then in a split second, those individuals are no longer here in this world. That's just my personal opinion.
But all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and end it on this one right here, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, but we gotta go ahead and head on out. So shout out to y'all. Shout out to my man Lunatic Libertarian. Hey man, it's fun having you on here. All right, guys, we're gonna
I am a lunatic, bro. I am a lunatic.
Oh yeah, we know, but we love you, man. Well, we love you. But all right. We're going to go ahead and end out with a word from our partners over here at Kalshi. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure you double tap the screen and like the video and subscribe to the channel, guys, because there's about, a 250,000 of you guys that watch all the time that's not subscribed yet. End the cycle today and subscribe to the channel. All right, guys. Yo, this is S.E.T with S.E.T Media, man. I'm here to talk to you about our partner, Kalshi. Kalshi is the largest legal prediction market in the United States with over 1 million users. It's available in all 50 states. They are a real money market. People trading on what they think will happen. You can build a position and trade in and out of almost any prediction you think. Kalshi facilitates trade between people, kind of like the stock market. There's no limiting your trades just because you are winning. Kalshi will pay you interest on your position. So if you make a long-term trade, you can earn a return even before the market is resolved. If you want to try out Kalshi, go ahead and give them a try, guys. At my link, kalshi.com/setmedia. Get $20 when you trade 20. So it's 20 for 20, guys. Once again, that's kalshi.com/setmedia. Go ahead and use my code SETmedia to get $20 when you trade 20. Let's go ahead and take a look here at Kalshi, because like I said, it is a trading market where you can put in your prediction and you can go ahead and earn interest on that. You can make money off the knowledge that you know, and if you put $20 in, you get $20 back. So all right, guys, make sure to go check out my guy at Kalshi, because you can get in on good trades like who will Trump nominate as Fed chair, will Ali Khamenei be outed as the supreme leader, and will the U.S. confirm that aliens exist before 2027? So if you want to get in on this action, once again, go ahead and go to my partners at Kalshi. Go ahead and use the link, or you can hit the QR code above and use SETmedia to go ahead and get $20 when you trade 20.